Example, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. સૂર્ય ઈસ્ટમાં પૂર્વમાં ઉગે અને પશ્ચિમમાં આથમે છે. એમાં આપણે કોઈ પરિવર્તન લાવી શકીએ તેમ નથી. That is why it is called universal truth. That is Sanatan Satyam. The second sentence is, the river Ganga flows into the Bay of Bengal. It also represents universal truth. First, now remember students, the first is it represents element of permanence. Number 2, it represents universal truth. Then number 3, it is used with exclamatory sentences. Now what is exclamatory sentences? Exclamatory sentences means udgar vakya. For example, here comes the bus. There she goes. So these are the sentences about exclamation. So these are exclamatory sentences. So remember, we use simple present tense with exclamatory sentences. Again I am repeating. We use simple present tense, number 1, with the element of permanence, number 2, with the universal truth, number 3, with the exclamatory sentences. Then, the second part of the present tense is present continuous tense. And if we try to define present continuous tense, then the definition of present continuous tense is, we use the present continuous tense to talk about something which is in progress at the moment of speaking. Again I am repeating, we use the present continuous tense to talk about something which is in progress at the moment of speaking. Now in this definition, the words at the moment of speaking is important because present continuous means ચાલુ, અત્યારે હાલ ચાલુ જે પ્રક્રિયા છે, હાલ ચાલુ જે કંડિશન છે એના વિશે વાત કરે છે. So present continuous tense refers the process which is happening at the present moment. So this is important if we have to learn present continuous tense. For example, the children are studying maths now. What the children are studying now? They are studying maths. That means children are at this time studying maths. So are studying is the process of continuous tense. That means it represents the situation of present time. The second example is, she is singing a beautiful song. That means at present she is singing a beautiful song. Again, both the sentences represent the situation which is happening at this time. So it is called continuous present tense. Remember that words like now, at this moment, just now are used in the present continuous tense. For example, now means અત્યારે હાલ, at this moment, આ ક્ષણે, just now, again અત્યારે હાલ જ. These type of words are used in the sentences of present continuous tense. If we try to find out the structure of the present continuous tense, then the structure of the first person singular is subject plus am plus verb, then we should add ing to the verb form, then object. If we give the sentence, Then the sentence of the first person singular is I am reading a book. Here I is the subject, then am, read is the verb form, then I have added ing to the read and then it becomes reading. Then what is I am reading? Book. Book is the object. Again, I am reading a book. I is the subject, then am, reading verb plus ing and a book object. If we see the structure of the first person plural, then the structure is subject plus are plus verb, add ing to the verb form and then object. If we give the example, then we should change only the subject. So instead of using I should use we. So with we, I use are. So the sentence will be we are reading books. We is the subject, then are, then read is the verb. Again I have used ing, I have added ing to the verb form and it becomes reading books object. Then the second person singular and plural both, the structure is the same because the subject in the second person singular and plural is the same and the subject is you. The structure is subject plus are plus verb, add ing to the verb form and then object. If I give you the example, then you are playing Kho-Kho. Subject you, then are, verb form is play, added ing to play and then it becomes playing. Kho-Kho is the object. So subject are verb plus ing object, you are playing Kho-Kho. This is the structure of present continuous tense, second person singular and plural. Then the third person singular, the structure is subject plus is plus verb form, add ing to the verb form and then object. If I give you the example, if I give you the example, then he is playing kabaddi on the playground. Then he is the subject, is, play is the verb form, added ing and then it becomes playing kabaddi object. And if we use other words, then on the playground other words. Again I am repeating the sentence, he is playing kabaddi on the playground. This is the structure of third person singular. Third person plural, the structure is subject plus are plus verb plus ing plus object. If we give the example, then they are playing kabaddi on the playground. Here subject they are, verb is play and we have added ing, then it becomes playing. So they are playing, kabaddi is the object and other words on the playground. So this is the structure of third person plural. Now let us take the example. The example of the first person singular is I am studying. This is a repetition. I am studying is the sentence of first person singular, present continuous tense. We are eating lunch is the example of first person plural. Then second person singular and plural, the example is you are reading a good book. Then the third person singular, the example is she is walking in the park. Then the example of plural is they are driving a new car. So remember that if we change the if we change the subject, then we have to change the verb form. So there is a link between the subject and the verb form. Now remember friends, some of the various usages of present continuous tense. Present continuous tense talks about an action which is going in the present time, but not necessarily exactly at the moment of speaking. Remember that. Generally we know that present continuous tense represents the situation which is going in the present time, but it is not necessarily exactly the moment of speaking, because it represents that short period also. For example, you are watching a lot of movies these days. That means at this time, at present time, you are not watching the movie. But these days, that means during these days, you are watching a lot of movie. I am studying hard for the exams. That means at present I am not studying. At present I may not study. But during the examination period I am studying hard. The third example is Sheila is searching for a job at the moment. So Sheila is searching for a job not at particular this moment but during this period. So remember friends, continuous present tense does not only represent the situation which is happening at a particular time, which is happening at a present time, but it represents the short period also. The second use of continuous present tense is it talks about an action that continues for a short period in a present time. For example, Ramesh is on a vacation. He is staying with his friend in Shimla. So here, this means that Ramesh won't stay permanently with his friend, but only during the vacation period. So the vacation period is the short period, and during this short period he is staying with his friend. So continuous present tense talks about an action that continues for a short period in the present time. The third use of continuous present tense is it talks about situations which are changing or developing around the present time. Let us take the example. Mobile phones are becoming a necessity now. So here the necessity of the mobile phones represents the developing situation around us. So for that situation, for developing situation, we can use continuous present tense. The next sentence, your children are growing up very quickly. Here, the condition of children, they are growing up. That means they are changing from time to time. So the changing process of the present time also represent the continuous present tense. The third part of the present tense is present perfect tense. If we try to define perfect present tense, then the definition of perfect present tense is when an action begins in the past time and gets over also in the past time, but its influence still continues in the present time. Then we use the present perfect tense to talk about that action or situation. Here, two things are important. The first is action begins in the past. So, in the perfect present tense, the action which has begun in the past time, but the effect of that action is still there in the present time. So, the second point, its influence still continues in the present time, that is important. Again, I am repeating, the action has started in the past time, but the effect, the influence of that action is still there in the present time. For that situation, we use present perfect tense. If we look at the examples of present perfect tense, I have seen the film Sholay. मैं शोले फिल्म जोई. That means I have seen many other films as well, but out of them I still remember Sholay. That means in the past time I have seen this film, but the influence of that film, the effect of that film is still there in my mind. That's why I have used the sentence I have seen the film Sholay as the present perfect tense. Then, if we try to look at the structure of the present perfect tense, then the structure of the first person singular is subject plus have plus past participle plus object. Let us take an example. I have played Kho. Here I is the subject, have, then past participle. Played is the past participle of play. Then object Kho. Again, I have played Kho. I is the subject, have, played past participle of play and object. First person plural. Same pattern, subject plus have plus past participle plus object. Here we have to change only the subject, and the subject will be we instead of I. So, we have played Kho. Subject is we, then have, played past participle of play, and then Kho object. Again same in the singular and plural second person, the structure is subject, have, past participle and object. Singular and plural subject for second person is you. Then you have written a book. You is the subject, have, written is the past participle of the verb write. Remember, written is the past participle of the verb write. Then a book is an object. Again, you have written a book. Subject is you, have, written is the past participle of write, and a book object. Then third person singular, subject plus has, past participle